Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our bold analysis. Today, I want us to look at something that has been full in my inbox. Kevin asking me that some of us have been asking, what is my take on the migration from Azimio la Umoja to Kenya Kwanza? Now, I want to just trace this to the latest ones. Some 3 days ago, Musalia Mudavadi met with the former SEA gubernatorial candidate Nicholas Oduor, and that meeting was held at Musalia Mudavadi Center. Even though Gumbo was just visited Mudavadi with his family, just his close friends, and also someone from his family. Remember Nicholas Gumbo vied as governor in 2017, facing off with the ODM candidate Rasanga. He could not win. He lost against Rasanga. Then he was appointed board in the Kenyatta National Hospital somehow. I don't know what happened. Then he left. Then he went back. He was to go and vie against Orengo, and he was having Charles Owino as the running mate. Charles Owino pulled out last minute. So Gumbo went to the ballot after, I think he went and picked another person as a running mate, but then ran on a UDM ticket. The UDM party was the first one to join Kenya Kwanza. So Gumbo as a UDM governor candidate technically had joined Kenya Kwanza. Then after that, yesterday, Rigathi Gachagua went to Rongai in Nakuru, campaigning against Raila-Moi, the son of the late President and late teacher Moi. And one of the statements that he made there has been causing a lot of uproar. That he was telling the residents of Rongai not to vote Gideon Moi, and according to him, is that it was time for them to liberate themselves from the chains of Moi family. So that debate, again in that place, Gachagua was going after Moi family. Remember, this is after Gideon Moi also lost in the just concluded general elections when he vied as a senator. Today, the 26th of August, William Ruto met Raila-Moi, the former Kisumu West MP, who vied unsuccessfully against Rosa Buyu, and Rosa Buyu won. By the way, Rosa Buyu has been trying that seat for quite some time. Raila-Moi ran on that MDG ticket, Maendeleo Movement for Democracy and Change. Then he was also accompanied by Jack Rangoma, who also ran as a Kisumu governor against Nyong'o and lost. Then with my very good friend and mentor, David Ochieng, and technically my party leader. So when I saw that photo, and the photo has been going around on social media, it really ticked my mind, and this was for me was laughable. I want to say something. When you listen to Ruto's speech, when he was meeting the group that met him today and actually formally announced that they were going to join Kenya Kwanza, that they had found friendship with William Ruto, Ruto spoke that he was associating these leaders in a plan to mainstream the Nyanza region in terms of development. So this mainstreaming of Nyanza region, and according to him, this can be achieved by taking those leaders that are there. Apart from David Ochieng, Raila-Moi, Jack Rangoma are nowhere close to power. They did not win the elective seats. So I was just wondering, okay, fine. If you want to use these leaders to take development in Nyanza, these people are not elected, so how are they going to help? As in how, ama hawa tumeenda tu kutafuta zao. This is a very interesting debate. Today we've been talking people from home, like how are they, the question is, how are they going to be used to take development? Even though we know in that group there is also Obado, Zachary Okoth Obado, who I think supported William Ruto during the campaigns. Apart from Obado, there is also Owalo. And so I want to appreciate the fact that the deputy president seems to be reaching out to those regions that are deemed as opposition zones. That is right. The only question is, in good faith, is it with the intended purpose? And I can tell you, without fear of contradiction, before we look at what is in Deputy President workbook, I can say that there was a model that was used by Deputy President in Mount Kenya. When he went to Mount Kenya, sharpened the young Turks, the Ndindi Nyoros, the Rigathi Gachagua, and Alice Wahome, and made them, indoctrinated them against President Uhuru Kenyatta. And they were made to tell the people that the problem that is affecting Mount Kenya was because of Uhuru Kenyatta family. It was totally indoctrination. It was nothing to deal with the areas being left behind or anything. It was the push for them to make sure that they strip off power from President Uhuru Kenyatta. That push was motivated by indoctrination. And I want to believe in those boardrooms. That could be. So after this election, what happened is Ruto successfully made sure that Uhuru remained powerless. Now, this is young tax. It is the same design and strategy that I see being pushed to Nyanza. Successfully, it is the same design that was used for Musalia Mudavadi. Before Musalia Mudavadi, no, he was listening to words from Didimas Baraza, from Boni Halwale. He was being controlled by Cleophas Malala. And these young politicians coalesced around Mudavadi and Wetangula, even though they were being put there as icons or co-principals. But the real thing, Musalia Mudavadi's ADMP, Sawyer, is from UDA. So I see this strategy, maybe someone trying to pick these young Turks as one way to strip off what I can say is powers on Raila Odinga. It is nothing and absolutely nothing to do with mainstreaming of Nyanza, but it's about Raila Molo Odinga. And Ruto knows that when you talk about Nyanza, you talk about Raila. Now, I want to take look at in-depth analysis on what is on Ruto's workbook. Very interesting. What is in that diary? What is the motive of this? Guys, kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. We are still reaching out, now doing countdown. 9 days to the end of Sarah Atieno's fundraiser. We did a 15 days extension from 21st of this month up to 5th of September. Sarah is suffering acute leukemia and she's in Kenyatta Hospital. I need to repeat this for those maybe are watching for the first time. And after she reached out and she's a subscriber here, we've been doing a fundraiser at least 50 shillings donation with a bid of at least raising 1 million because the bill was 1 million. In the first attempt, we were in a position to cumulatively pay 829,000 and the balance is 215,000. So this extension is just to cover the 215. As I talk now, it is at 90,000. And I believe that we'll be in a position to take this home. So you can donate directly through this number, 0710 62 78 89, Kevin Olo. You can also reach out to Sarah, 0716 357 360. It will appear Sarah Onyango. From where I am seated as the board, this is a ploy to deflate Raila Odinga's chances in a rerun or a re-election by portraying him as an isolated man. And while it can be packaged as unity call. It can be packaged as development mainstreaming. But I want to echo the words of Francis Atwoli in 2017. He told Uhuru Kenyatta that when you get Raila, you are sorted, leave the rest. This is the point. The unity call, the mainstreaming call, when you get Raila, you leave the rest. Otherwise, I'm not saying they are not influential. David is someone I know personally. But the truth of the matter is that Raila Odinga is the man to watch. You must give credit where it's due. Now, this ploy of when there is a perception that people are crossing over, it first shows some fatigue. It sends fatigue to the supporters of Raila Odinga. People might feel like, ni kama tushashindwa, and that is the intention of this. So, and I want just to pose a question, if there was called to be a rerun, how is Raila going to package himself and consolidate a team? Maybe Ruto will be starting 3 steps ahead, Raila will be starting 1 step behind. So, that is also one thing. In William Ruto's workbook, I see a wider scheme to create indoctrination of what they called dynasties. Remember, the Hustler movement started as dynasty versus narrative. And when the president came out and said, look here, the president came out and criticized, saying that no one was born in a dynasty and you're just creating cluster war. By that time, it was a cluster war between perhaps the rich and the poor. That's what it looked like. Now, what you can see is that that narrative never died. And perhaps in this, if William Ruto forms the next government, I think there is a ploy to vanquish what, according to him, are dynasties. And not because he believes are dynasties, because maybe you saw him, he will be a dynasty sometime back. But it's because these are the centers of power. It's just a ploy to shrink the centers of power. The families that shake the Kenyan politics, when you talk about these families. So this is just a way of just making sure that there is status quo. And I can say that with this mission, then in 2027, expect some status quo. Now, this MDG party, if you look at these members that have been going to Kenya Kwanza, the ones like typically from Nyanza are members of MDG. Both Gumbo vied on MDG. I think Gumbo vied on UDM. The leaders, the Raila-Moi, and someone can confirm to me whether Raila-Moi left for Kenya. I don't want to be, don't get it factual. Can help me confirm that. These leaders are also in their capacity as a party movement for democracy and change. Now, democracy and growth. Now, I want just to face the ball here. I see a plan to give that party a visibility, because what Ruto has some sort of visibility. When you give that MDG front seat, you give that party visibility in a bid to checkmate ODM. That's a tall order. Not now. That's a tall order. Because I think that party is just a party for that MP and himself and just within that constituency. It doesn't go beyond Sidindi. For people who know Ugenya. It does not, that party, I don't think it goes beyond Sidindi or beyond Ugenya. There are 10 MCS who won with that MDG party. Maybe someone should show us. Now, this is something that is being done to give that party visibility, and perhaps that would be a strategy to checkmate ODM. Whether this will be successful or not, but it's just a voice of creating an alternative voice, which I want to agree it's nice and it's something that's fine. I want to say something that yes, David Oching is one of the best performed MPs in Siaya, if not in Nyanza. And sometimes the development as an MP is fine, but I don't think that development that goes in a region should actually go because of someone. If anything, if someone wants to mainstream this country, not just Nyanza. If you just want mainstreaming, then you just embrace continuity. Because the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, in second term, actually tried to play the level ground. The ground is leveled. Just make sure the port is going on. If the port was to go to Kisumu, let it go to Kisumu. Just make sure the companies that the president had worked on, the Mamboleo project, the water projects in Siaya, the other road project in Migori, just make sure there is continuity. What Uhuru launched in Bungoma, just the same way as those of Mount Kenya. It actually just needs continuity. With that is enough. And that is why I also urge the governors and the elected members of parliament. If you want to develop your region, you want to help the Kenyan voter, don't pick a new template. If there is something you can complete, maliza hiyo kwanza. You show the people that so and so started this, I finished it, give me another term, now I want to do mine. Makes a lot of sense. And the Kenyan voter are informed. Now, there is a bit to cut a national outlook that, oh, this government or this UDA or this Kenya Kwanza is not just CC, we are not seeing. So someone is just looking for these optics. This is sometimes important because the president-elect tag is facing legibility test. And one of them is Supreme Court. Guys, that's my bold statement. What are your thoughts?